Here's an example of how to do a clean seam finish. Again, we've started with our 2 pieces of fabric, sewn together, right sides together, 5/8 inch seam allowance with a reverse at the top and a reverse at the bottom. Now the clean finish involves separating the 2 parts of our seam allowance. We are going to focus on one side at a time. This first side, I'm going to flip it over this way. I'm going to fold that seam allowance about halfway back. It's hard for me to hold the phone and fold at the same time. You can iron this, fold it and iron it. I just run my fingernails and fingers over it a little bit to put a little crease in it. Now sewing this one, there is not a seam allowance. I am sewing within this folded space. Kind of cute how these polka dots line up. But anyway, my seam should come right through the center of this fold. This time it is a straight seam, back to stitch number 1. And like always, we reverse. Sewing straight down, reverse at the end. Trim my thread nice and neat there. And here is my first seam allowance. Oops, hardly can see it, with the clean finish. Now I'm going to work on the other side of my seam allowance again, folding all the other fabric out of the way because I'm only sewing through the one side. It's not being sewn down to anything. I'm sewing it to itself. So again, flipping it over, folding the edge. And again, can't hold the phone and fold very well, so bear with me. Again, I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of smooth it out. And then bring it up to my sewing machine here, lining up the center of my seam allowance. And just like before, do a reverse at the start of my seam. Sew all the way down, reverse at the bottom. Make sure my threads are trimmed, nice and neat. And then when I'm finished, I'll take it back to the iron and press it open like this. Here you can see my nice, neat, clean finish here, clean finish here. Those rough edges that can fray are sewn under. Very clean and neat.